Back on the Sports Show with Woody and Les and everyone else. This is Chad Brown. Joins us periodically. Talk some football with us.
Not often enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, Woody.
How do you stop Adrian Peterson? What do you do? Can you stop him, or do you just try to contain him?
Oh, you put 13 guys on the field.
That's why I did this. Try to contain him.
Right. You put 13 guys on the field. No, you got to be disciplined. But at the same time, you've got to be a defense that is able to get off of blocks. Because if you're going to stick an arm out there, he's going to run through your arm tackles. He's too powerful for you to try to bring down with just one arm. So the ability for you to get off of blocks and square him up is really the key. He's not like a Barry Sanders where he's going to run one way and come back the other way. So you don't have to be necessarily super disciplined when you play him. You just have to be, like I said, you cannot be tied up with a blocker and try to tackle Adrian Peterson at the same time. So look for the Broncos this week to really work their arm extension, trying to keep those blockers off them so they can get off and be in a good position to make the tackle. Again, if you're just sticking an arm out there, AP is going to run through that every single time.
You don't like my opinions. They should stay in the media room. But what weight did you play at?
What weight? I played 245.
The Broncos have two inside linebackers that are at your weight. That's where I'm going with that. I think they're going to have real problems against somebody like Peterson because I think they're going to be worn down because he is now going to be, when Kansas City got behind, they had to throw the football more. Baltimore came in there was a bad team, and so their running back situation really wasn't. But I think that we're going to see him run 25 to 30 times this game. Is that going to wear down those two inside linebackers? Is he going to be able to run over and around those two linebackers, or because of their speed, which is, I think, a personality of this defense, great speed. Who's going to win that battle? Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan, Adrian Peterson.
Well, and on top of that, isn't the key the defensive line making the stop so that the linebackers don't have to do all the work so AP doesn't get to the second level?
Well, they need to work together, and if you're going to have your linebackers freed up, then those defensive linemen need to occupy some blocks. But to Woody's point, yeah, if I'm on the offensive staff for the Vikings, I'm not going to try to run outside and test the edges with DeMarcus Ware or Shane Ray or Shaq Barrett or Von Miller out there. There's no sense in that. Those guys are really good at setting the edge. So I see them attacking the inside of this Broncos defense. Sylvester Williams, Danny Trevathan, Brandon Marshall. For Danny Trevathan and for Sylvester Williams, I'm sorry, for Danny Trevathan and for Brandon Marshall, sometimes speed can be your worst thing as a linebacker because you get running one way, the back runs a cutback, and now you've taken yourself out of position because you're trying to get there so fast because there's Adrian Peterson, and now he cuts back on you. Both those guys, I think, are probably smaller than 245. Maybe I did a show with Brandon Marshall 2 weeks ago. He looked about 230-ish.
Yeah, Danny's a little bit more stout, though.
Yeah, he is.
But neither one of them. I mean, they're both your size or a little bit
smaller. Yeah, but they're not. You're not huge guys.
They're
not
outside
tiny
linebackers.
Yeah, they're outside linebackers playing inside linebackers. So I'd imagine that's going to be the game plan. And if it comes to a game where the Broncos haven't scored enough points and the game is close, and they're able to run the ball with Adrian Peterson 25 or 30 times during the ball game, there's not a defense that's not going to be wore out by those numbers. And eventually, you start making business decisions. I don't want to tackle this dude anymore.
What do you weigh now?
Right now, I'm 230.
230. So you got off the steroids? You dropped 15 pounds?
Going back to your point, though, you're talking about the
I'm talking this guy over here.
The defensive line working together. It would seem to me, tell me if I'm wrong, but I've watched this game for a long time. Right. I didn't play professional football, that you occupy Sylvester Williams. What I mean by occupy him is you put two guys on him. Malik Jackson likes to think of himself as an outside linebacker. He's going to come from the outside. It would seem to me that the vulnerability for the Denver Broncos is going to be right there in the middle for you. And you were saying, well, a defensive line, he's going to get to the second level. He does that. He gets to the second level. He gets past those. When you got a three-man front, stop me any point you want to, a three-man front, that's really not set up to really be the tackling guys.
No, their job is to occupy blocks, eat up blocks, and be pickets in that picket fence so linebackers know where to go. If you're getting pushed around as a three front defensive line, then linebackers don't know where to fit, and that's when you see those big runs happen. But those guys need to be consistently eating up those blocks, consistently on those blocks, so linebackers can be free and now it's a one-on-one Brandon Marshall versus Adrian Peterson.
Well, that's where I came back to. That's why I came back to Adrian Peterson with his ability, with his experience, and you got two still relatively inexperienced guys in the middle who were outside linebackers. They both were. And so that's why I come back. So who is going to win that battle? I think he's going to win that battle.
Adrian Peterson is going to win that battle. Does the rest of the Vikings offense have enough to win the game is really the question.
That's the whole point. So that's why I go back to, and I was asking Greg, if he runs for 200 yards, I don't think they're going to win the game. That's not going to be how they win the game.
If he runs for 200 yards, that means the game was close. It means he's got somewhere between 25 and 30 carries. And Teddy Bridgewater throws for 165.
We're talking about a defense that doesn't give up that kind of yardage.
They just don't. They gave up 125 to Jamal Charles.
I'm talking about altogether.
They gave up 125 to Jamal Charles,
yeah.
and they got away from it.
200 is a rather stupid number. 150 is a realistic number, I think, for him. But again, it's I just believe that the rest of that team can't beat the Broncos. I don't see Bridgewater beating the secondary in this case.
All right, that portion of the big stuff brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. That's where you get the original motorcycle, Indian motorcycles. So check out the newest line of Indian cycles at Grand Prix Motorsports. That's Shannon, and you can find her and her motorcycle at County Line and Santa Fe. That's where Grand Prix Motorsports is. All right, here's one for you.